Finland this afternoon, expressing deep frustration at the state of the impeachment inquiry launched by House Democrats, and he made the target of his anger well known.
Will you cooperate with those subpoenas?
Well, I always cooperate. This is a hoax. This is the greatest hoax. This is just a continuation of what's been playing out, John, for the last, since my election, I would say. I had a great call with the president of Ukraine. It was 100%. You have the transcript. And then Schiff went up and he got, as the chairman of the committee, got up and related a call that didn't take place. He made up the language. Hard to believe. Nobody's ever seen this. I think he had some kind of a mental breakdown.
Thinks he had some kind of a mental breakdown. I lost track of the number of times the president lied in that little press conference, but he says, I always cooperate with subpoenas. I'm going to leave you to figure that one out for yourself. This latest tirade from the president comes after House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and House Intelligence Committee Chairman Adam Schiff, who he thinks had a mental breakdown, gave an update this morning into the progress of the House impeachment inquiry, putting the White House on notice.
We see the actions of this president being an assault on the Constitution. Once we had his even admission to that, we had no choice but to go forward. It's hard. We want to weigh the equities. We want to be fair as we go forward.
We want to make it abundantly clear that any effort by the secretary, by the president, or anyone else to interfere with the Congress's ability to call before it relevant witnesses will be considered as evidence of obstruction of the lawful functions of Congress.
All right, joining me now, Democratic Congresswoman Maxine Waters, who expressed support for pursuing impeachment well over a year ago. Congresswoman, I don't know, do people call you when the president calls them names? Because you're far beyond that. I think you might have been one of his earliest targets, certainly one of his early targets.
Yes, absolutely. He has called me names, as he's called many other names. And I've been at this almost 2 years because I understand the danger of this president. I understand that he has colluded with Russia. I understand that he's embraced Putin. I also understand that he really wants to be and act like a dictator. And I'm very worried about our entire government. I'm worried about his administration and the fact that he has enlisted those who will protect him, stand up for him, no matter what he does. And so now you have the head of our state, Department of State. You've got also our Attorney General. Where do we turn to try and get some help and some truth about what is going on? We're in a dangerous time. And more than that, this man is dog whistling about a civil war. This is dangerous. And so we're going to move forward with impeachment. I think that Nancy Pelosi did a great job. And I think that she is focused. And now we all must be focused. And I'm so pleased that we have more than a majority in our caucus. And so we're moving forward.
So Nancy Pelosi is focused, but you just heard her say, we want to weigh the equities. We want to move swiftly and follow the facts. You have said that you think Donald Trump should be thrown in solitary confinement. Are you worried that maybe your passions about him are getting past the speed at which Nancy Pelosi would like to run the impeachment hearings?
I think that most people know me and know what I've been doing for the last 2 years. They know I've spoken about the president's lack of understanding or appreciation for the Constitution. He doesn't care about the democracy and how he has undermined all of those who are trying so hard to make this democracy stronger. And so I think people know me, and I think that they know I have the best interest of this country at heart, and that I've worked very hard, and that I've spoken truth to power in ways that many others didn't even have the courage to do it. And so I'm not worried about anybody thinking that somehow I am not on track to move forward with my caucus and with the Speaker to be focused and laser-like on what we have to do to move this impeachment inquiry forward.
You got a tough skin. You've been attacked by the president several times, but you are an elected official. There's a very different flavor when the president goes after this whistleblower and anybody who informed the whistleblower. There's language that the president has used over the last week, including calling them traitors and spies and saying that they should be dealt with as traitors. Today, again, saying, I want to know who this person is. It's almost like he's sending a message out there. Someone needs to turn this whistleblower in, and that he tweeted, in fact, consequences. I think going after Maxine Waters is different than going after a whistleblower.
Well, whatever. He shouldn't be going after anybody. He's the president of the United States of America. He's setting some of us up to be killed. I have death threats constantly. There are a number of people who have been convicted for threatening to kill me. And when he does that, he's dog whistling to the white supremacists, the KKK, and the dangerous people. And we have stories about many of those white supremacists who do nothing but practice how they're going to be involved in a civil war and fight against this government. And this president is irresponsible in so many ways, aside from making us a target of these white supremacists and those who would kill us in a civil war. Some of us will be the first to be killed. And so I want to tell you, whether it's Maxine Waters or whether it's a whistleblower, he has no business doing that.
Do you think he's endangering people's safety?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I can't go to the grocery store anymore by myself. I have to pay for security all the time. I can't move around the country without security. And the whistleblower is protected by law, and he should not be talking about he wants to interview them. If he knew anything about law, he wouldn't be so ignorant as to think that somehow anybody's going to allow him to interview a whistleblower.
Representative Maxine Waters, good to talk to you. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you so very much.
Maxine Waters of California. Coming up next, author Chris Whipple joins me to discuss how President Trump's controversial brand of leadership informs his administration's policy and the lasting effect that it could have for generations. You are watching MSNBC.
COPD makes it hard to breathe. So to breathe